The tax fraud trial for the Trump Organization is officially underway in Manhattan. It began on Monday. Things have not been going well for Donald Trump's legal team. In fact, on Monday, as I talked about over at Ring of Fire, during their opening statement, the Trump Organization's opening statements, the judge had to send the jury out of the room for 15 minutes and then get on to Trump's lawyers for attempting to mislead and confuse the jurors. But shortly after they were brought back in, of course, Trump's legal team was able to continue their opening statements, where they promptly threw Chief Financial Officer Allen Weisselberg under the bus. And they threw him hard, they threw him fast. Because Weisselberg, of course, is supposed to be the star witness of this trial. He is the one that's going to take the stand and say that, yes, he committed fraud, but the organization allowed him and may have even encouraged him to commit that fraud. So Trump's lawyers, of course, have to paint Weisselberg as not just the bad guy, but as the only bad guy. So here is a sampling of some of the nonsense that Donald Trump's legal team was trying to sell to the jury. Weisselberg did it for Weisselberg. Given the decades he was there and the projects he worked on, and that he was with this family when times were good and when times weren't so good, he was trusted by everyone. He was trusted to protect this company. He was like family to the Trump family, and no employee was trusted more than he, but he made mistakes. You were all here during jury selection and heard the DA repeatedly argue that Donald Trump was involved in or even knew what Allen Weisselberg was doing. You will learn that Mr. Weisselberg hid what he was doing from the company and from the owners of the companies. So it was all Weisselberg. Poor Donald Trump is the victim here, guys. He didn't know what was happening in his own company that he was running. And it was happening for years, and Trump was just oblivious to all of it. I know nothing of money. I don't look at my books. Really? That's the defense you're going with, is that, hey, listen, Donald Trump's a moron. He's too dumb to commit crimes, but this guy, this Weisselberg fella, phew, he's the bad one. And then, of course, they had to address the other elephant in the room, which is the fact that even though Weisselberg, clearly breaking the law, admitted to it, he's pleaded guilty, he's still on the payroll. He is still on the payroll of the Trump Organization. So good luck explaining that away, right? Well, they tried. Here's what they said. Since his crimes were discovered, he has been treated like a close family member who made serious and even criminal mistakes. We all know the Bible story of the prodigal son, a man who put his own personal goals and desires ahead of his family's, and when it all falls apart, he is taken back in by the same family and allowed to move forward. You must not consider this case to be a referendum on President Trump or his politics. It started and it ended with Allen Weisselberg. Allen Weisselberg did this. But we love him dearly, and the Bible says forgive, so we brought him back in. We're still paying him. You know, it's not like we're trying to pay him off to keep him silent. No. Don't think that. We're doing it because we're God-fearing Christians here at the Trump Organization. And Allen Weisselberg's a total piece of shit, right? What a horrible defense. Like, I understand you want to pin it all on Weisselberg because you don't want the organization itself to basically be dissolved if you're found guilty of this. I get it. And I get that you're being paid probably real good money to go to court and make these idiotic statements. However, do you really think the jury is that stupid? As I mentioned, before they went into all this, the jury had already been sent out, and the judge accused Trump's lawyers of trying to confuse the jury. So the jury may not have heard what the judge said when he got on to the Trump lawyers, but they knew something bad had happened with Trump's lawyers, right? They knew those guys screwed up. That's why they had to leave the room. So then they come back and they're treated to Bible stories and stories about Donald Trump being so stupid he doesn't know what's happening in his own company. You think that's a stellar legal defense? Well, if you do, best of luck to you, because this thing is about to get super interesting. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.